Hey everyone, welcome back to another walkthrough. This week we are doing our final Excel chapter. This is 10G Pharmacy Supplies. Let's begin. We're going to download our Excel chapter 10 and Excel chapter 10 Pharmacy Supplies homework. I'm going to go ahead and download our starting materials. Remember, do not download all files. Click on each file individually. When you're downloading your files, you may get this error or this warning saying it could harm your computer. It is a database. Go ahead and hit keep. Now for my Mac users, this is going to be slightly different. You will have to use some different instructions. Mac version of Microsoft Office does not have access to Access 365. It's only available on the Microsoft Office for Windows. So what that means is you will be using a CSV file, which is a type of Excel file. But we'll address those issues as we start our project. So let's go ahead and open up our student Excel file. Go ahead and I'm going to make this bigger. I'm going to go ahead and hit enable editing. And I'm also going to go ahead and hit enable content. So here is our document. In step number 2, it wants us to make sure that the pharmacy suppliers info tab is selected, the worksheet. Notice that there's no real data on this tab. We're actually going to import data into here through either Access or our CSV file. Once again, for my Mac users, you will be using a CSV file. For my Windows users, we will be using an Access database. If for some reason you're having issues with the Access database importing the information into this table, feel free to go ahead and use that CSV file as well. So first things first, we want to click on cell A2. From A2, we're going to go to our Data tab. And we want to click under Get Data. We want to click on Get Data. For my Mac users, you will click on From File, and you'll do From Workbook. For my Windows users, we're going to go from Database, and we're going to go from Microsoft Access Database. So now we need to find out what data we're going to import. It's going to be under our Downloads folder, so let's go ahead and click on Downloads. And here it is. This is our Pharmacy Suppliers Access Database. So I'll click on that and hit Import. So it wants us to click on our 10G Pharmacy Suppliers. And we're going to go ahead and click on our down arrow next to Load. And we're going to click on Load To. Load To, we're going to select Table. We're going to use Existing Worksheet, which is in A2. And I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And it may take a few minutes for it to load in. It didn't take too long for me. Here it is. And now I have the data from that Access database imported in to my Excel worksheet. And I can go ahead and close out of my queries and connections. So once you've put your table in here, once we've inserted our table, it wants us to change the table and apply the table style medium 7. So let's go ahead and click on this table. And we'll click on our table design here. And under our table styles, we're going to click the down arrow with the line above it. Under medium, we want to find medium 7, which is green table style medium 7 right here. So now on step number 3, we want to do a database average. So we're going to go ahead and click on our pharmacy staff worksheet here. And in cell B18, we're going to click on our FX button right here. And we want to find database average, so D average, and hit go. There it is, the average. I'm going to hit OK. So our database is going to be A3 colon F16. So what we're trying to find out is we're trying to average the wages of pharmacists. So now we're going to go to our field button here, and we want to put in quotation marks, hourly wage, close quotation marks, and our criteria is going to be C18 colon C19. And hit OK. And notice that we should get $32.76. That is the hourly wage of the pharmacists. So now it wants us to change this to the accounting number format. So let's go ahead and come up to our home tab here. Under our number grouping, we should have the $sign here. Let's go ahead and click on that once, and that will make it the accounting number format. So now for step number 4, it wants us to, in cell B21, to do a D-sum, a database sum. So let's go ahead and click on cell B21. And we're going to come up to our FX button. Let's click on FX. And we're going to do a D-sum. So let's go ahead and type D-S-U-M. Hit go. There it is, D-sum, database sum. Hit OK. Our database is again going to be A3 colon F16. This time our field is going to be wage per shift, so in quotation marks, wage per shift. Make sure you capitalize everything properly. Capitalize the W and the S, wage per shift. And then our criteria for this one is going to be C21 colon D22. So C2 colon D22, these 4 cells right here. Once we get that, we're going to hit OK, and we should get a sum of 686.4. We also want to make that an accounting number format, so we're going to go ahead and come up to our home tab here under our number grouping, and we're going to click on the $sign. So there, we're done with step number 4. For step number 5, it says in cell E18. So let's go ahead and find cell E18 right here. In cell E18, it wants us to type in maximum pharmacist hourly wage. Once you've typed in maximum pharmacist hourly wage, it wants us to use the format painter to copy the format from cell C18 to E18. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter here. So I solidify our typing. Then I'm going to go ahead and click on cell C18. So I'm going to find where it says C18 right here, C18. I'm going to come up here to my home tab under my clipboard. I'm going to click format painter, and then I want to go ahead and click on E18. And notice that it will copy the format for me. Now it wants me to widen column E to 75 pixels. So I'm going to come up here to column E. I'm going to hover over to the edge, the right edge of E18. See how I get those 2 arrows pointing away from each other? I'm going to click, hold, and drag. And notice that my width, I want to change it to 75 pixels. So now that we have our column E to 75 pixels, we want to click in cell E19. In cell E19, we want to begin the max ifs function by typing the equal sign and typing in max IFS, all one word. And we're going to go ahead and open our parentheses. It wants us to select the range representing the hourly wage of the pharmacy staff. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight E4 all the way down to E16. Wants me to do a comma. And then the criteria range. Select the range that represents the status of the pharmacy. So right here where it says status, I want to highlight C4 all the way down to C16. Wants me to type another comma. And this time it wants me to click on cell C19. So I'm going to find C19 right here. I'm going to click on that. I want to close my parentheses and hit enter. And it should give me a number of $33.33.8. Wants me to change that to a accounting number. So I'm going to click back onto E19. I'm going to come up to my home tab. Under my number group, I'm going to click on the $sign. And it should put in the accounting number for us. So this right here is the maximum pharmacist hourly wage. So if I come up here and I would look at the hourly wage, at pharmacist, notice that the most that the pharmacist makes is $33.80. Now it wants us to display the pharmacy supplies inventory worksheet. So I'm going to click on the pharmacy supplies inventory worksheet. From here, it wants me to insert a table in the range A7 to E42. So I'm going to highlight A7 all the way down to E42. I'm going to go to my Insert tab, and from my Insert tab, I'm going to click on Table. And yes, my table has headers, so make sure there's a check mark here, and hit OK. So now it wants me to display the Physicians Clinic worksheet, so I'm going to go ahead and click on the Physicians Clinic worksheet. From here, it wants me to copy the range A1 to E32, so I'm going to come up here to A1, highlight all the way down to E32. I'm going to hold down the Control key and hit C to copy. Notice how it puts a moving border around our table. Or you can hit the copy button up here. Then I'm going to go to my pharmacy supplies inventory sheet. I'm going to click on cell F6, and I'm going to hold down the Control key and hit V to paste. Or I can come up here and hit the paste button. And it wants me to select F7. So I'm going to highlight F7 all the way down to J37. And it wants me to format this as a table. So I'm going to go to the Insert tab, click on the table icon. Yes, it has headers. Make sure it's checkmarked and hit OK. And there we have it. We have two tables side by side. For this table right here, the one that we just inserted, it wants us to change it to a table style medium 7. So I'm going to come up here to my table styles. I'm going to hit the down arrow with the line above it. And under medium, I want to do table style medium 7 right here, this green one. It also wants me to apply auto fit to columns H through I. So I'm going to come up here to column H. I'm going to hover over the H, click, hold, and drag it over to I so that both of them are selected. Then I'm going to hover in between the H and I so the two arrows are pointing away from each other, and I want to double click really fast. And that will auto fit both of these columns for me. Step number 10 wants me to sort both tables by model number. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this first table here first. Under my Home tab, under my editing group here, I'm going to hit Sort Filter and click Custom Sort. So once my sort dialog box comes up, I want to sort first by model number. So I'm going to click on model number. And I want to make sure it says A to Z. And then I want to add a level. And this time I'm going to sort it by purchase price. And we want to do it from largest to smallest. And go ahead and hit OK. And let's do that exact same thing to this table here. Let's go ahead and click on the green table. Let's come up to our editing group. Let's click on Custom Sort. We're going to sort it by model number, add a level, and then we're going to sort it by purchase price and then largest to smallest and hit OK. For step number 11, we want to apply conditional formatting to E8 to E42. So let's highlight E8 to E42. And we're going to come up here to our Home tab under Conditional Formatting right here. We want to do icon sets, and we want to do the traffic lights rimmed. So we want to find the 3 traffic lights rimmed right here, this icon set. And we want to apply the same conditional formatting to J8 to J37. So let's go ahead and highlight J8 down to J37, come back up here to our conditional formatting, our icon set, and then we will select that same 3 traffic lights rimmed. Now it says in the range C8 to C42, so let's go ahead and highlight C8 to C42. It wants us to create a new conditional formatting rule, so we're going to come up here to our conditional formatting. We're going to do a new rule, and we're going to use a formula. And our formula is going to be equal sign C8 equal sign in quotation marks pharmacy spill kit, close quotation marks. Once we've typed in our equal C8 equals pharmacy spill kit, make sure it's in quotation marks. We're going to click on the format button here. And under our format, we want to format it bold italics with the red. So we're going to come to our color, automatic, under standard colors, select red. And hit OK. And then hit OK again. And notice everywhere that it says pharmacy spill kit, it bolds it, italicizes it, and then highlights it in red. Step number 14 wants us to delete the physician's clinic worksheet. So let's go ahead and click on our physician's clinic worksheet, right click on it and hit delete. And hit delete. It wants us to check the workbook for accessibility. So I'm going to come to my file tab here. Under my File tab, I want to click on Info. Under Info, I'm going to click on Check for Issues and Check Accessibility. Under my Check for Accessibilities, so notice here I have Missing Alternative Text, Picture 3, Picture 2. When I click on these 2 pictures, it will highlight which one it wants. In this particular case, I want Picture 2. I want this one right here, the picture of the pharmacy supplies. And I want to add a description. And this description is going to be pharmacy supplies. Make sure you capitalize the P and lowercase the s. Once you're done with that, you can go ahead and hit the X button right here. And you can go ahead and close out of the accessibility. Now it wants us to group our 4 worksheets together, so I'm going to right click on one of the worksheets and hit select all sheets. It wants me to go to the page layout tab here. It wants me to insert a header, so I'm going to click on page setup right here. I'm going to click on the little page setup dialog box. I'm going to click on header footer, custom header. And in the right section, so I'm going to click on the right section right here. It wants me to display the sheet name, so I'm going to find the icon right here that says sheet name. I'm going to insert sheet name. Go ahead and hit OK. And then it wants me to do a custom footer. And in the left section of the footer, it wants me to put the file name right here. Go ahead and hit OK and hit OK. I'm going to go ahead and come up here and I'm going to click on cell A1. It wants me to center the sheets horizontally on the page. So I'm going to come back to my page setup. I'm going to click on this little icon here again. Under margins, I'm going to check mark center on page horizontally. I'm going to go to my page tab here and set the landscape to, or the orientation to landscape. And I'm going to fit my pages 1 by 1. So make sure you put a dot next to the fit to 1 by 1. And go ahead and hit OK. And lastly, we need to go to our display document properties. So let's go to the File tab under Info. And let's show all properties. Under tags, we're going to add a tag, pharmacy supplies. Subject box, go ahead and type in CGS. And where it says author, delete Go series by right-clicking on it, hit remove person, and then type in your name as the author. Let's go ahead and click on print so that we can see our print preview. Right here's our print preview. Notice that we have our sheet info up here, and we have our file name in the footer. Let's go ahead and hit save. I'm going to save it again for good measure, and let's go ahead and submit it. I'm going to minimize it, close out of my downloading materials, choose file, and it should be under my downloads. There it is, my file, pharmacy supplies. Hit open, upload, and submit for grading. I'm going to close out of this. I'm going to come back here to my assignments. I'm going to click on the three dots, view submission, and it looks like I got 100%. Once again, you can click on the submission, you can see what you did wrong, you can fix it, and then turn it in for a better grade. Well, that concludes this walkthrough. This is our last Excel walkthrough. Next week, we will start looking at PowerPoint. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and have a wonderful day.